Satsang Ji Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Sikh Channel has travelled to Mold in North Wales, and we are currently in Daniel Owen Square, where in Mold Against Racism, a group that was formed literally in the past few days following from the attack on 24-year-old Sarandev Singh Bhambra by an alleged white supremacist at a Tesco store in Mold. The local community are gathering today in solidarity with Sarandev Singh Bhambra and against extremism and racism. And Sikh Channel will be covering this particular event and talking to the organisers, the local community leaders and the local community itself on how they feel about this sort of attack taking place in their town. Satsang Ji, let's talk to some of the residents of Mold and get their reaction to the horrific event that took place here on Wednesday last week. And with me we have Andy. Andy, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us. Just your thoughts about this particular horrific event that took place. How does it make you feel?
Doesn't make me feel great. I've got family here, you know, and so yeah, they're growing up here, and anything of that nature, it's just wrong. Fundamentally, it's wrong anyway. But to have it on your doorstep, it doesn't feel great, you know.
The papers are alleging that he was a part of a white supremacist because he was shouting white power as he did this attack. How does that make you feel? Because obviously this is not a sort of common scene across Britain anyway, but in a small town, North Wales, where no one's even heard of in the majority of people. Yeah. Does that give a set Mold in a good light in that respect?
If you read the papers, I mean, personally I don't. I mean, for me it's just about people getting on and everyone living together. So anything of this nature, it's just not welcome at all.
That's fantastic. Also, obviously, how does it make you feel now that a group has been formed in Mold itself? Local members have come together and formed Mold Against Racism and actually holding a rally today in support of all communities coming together.
I think it's good, you know, just people coming together to make sure, you know, that everybody feels a lot safer, or that there's support there and you don't feel isolated in any way, you know. So it's a good thing, yeah, it's a good thing. But if it raises the general awareness that it's kind of wrong to go around doing bad stuff, that's a good thing.
Thank you so much, Andy. Appreciate that. Thanks a lot, sir.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. We have another local resident of Mold with us, John. Yes. Thank you for joining us on Sikh Channel.
No problem.
We're covering an event here by Mold Against Racism that's taking place today. They're holding a rally, obviously following on from the tragic event that took place last week in a Tesco store. That particular event where this young man has attacked another young man with a machete and a hammer while he was doing his shopping, is the local resident has been arrested and remanded. The young man, being of Asian origin, is just released from hospital just in the last 24 hours. What does this say about, or how do you feel about this sort of attack taking place in your town?
At first, I'd just like to say I wish the man a full recovery, and I think everyone in this area, the local people and local people around this area, be totally disgusted with what's happened. And as I say, from my heart, and I think from the heart of everyone in this city, it's a quiet place. That shouldn't happen around here. It shouldn't happen at all, like, you know what I mean? And my heart, and I think the people in Mold would say exactly the same. We wish him well, and, you know, we're disgusted in what's happened, to be honest, like, you know what I mean? An absolute terrible thing, a tragedy, to be honest.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. Thanks, John.
No problem.
Take care. With us now we have Danny Brown, who's a local resident of Mold, and we're going to get his reaction to the attack that took place last week, where a young man was attacked viciously with a hammer and a machete. Andy, your reaction to this sort of event that took place it's a pretty small town, sleepy town, and this sort of thing that happened is horrendous. So how did it make you feel?
Sick to the bones, really. Yeah, this type of thing doesn't usually happen around here, and it makes you think that there's some sick people out there, and it's totally unacceptable.
What did the local community around you, your friends and family feel? How does it make you feel in regards to something like this happening in your locality? We couldn't believe it actually happened.
My parents and myself, we shop there quite regularly, and it's unbelievable, really sickening. Yeah.
What message would you send to people out of Mold at the moment thinking, well, I don't think I want to be travelling there in that respect, because I feel I might be a next target. Obviously, to diminish these fears, because obviously there's one or two individuals that have those extreme psycho thinkings. But what message would you like to send?
Well, I think, we can't be put off by it. Mould's a nice place, and the Tesco store's very popular, but at the end of the day, hopefully it was an isolated incident and it won't happen again. So, yeah.
Appreciate that. Thanks for your time, Andy.
Thank you.
Sarandev, let's speak to another local resident of Mould and get their reaction to the horrific event that took place at the Tesco store last week. So with me I have...
my name's Joan Hughes.
Joan, how does this make you feel in regards to Mould and how it represents Mould?
Oh, upset about it, because there's never ever been any racial disharmony in this town before.
So these sort of events, how do we move forward? Because today you got Mould Against Racism, a group that was formed on the back of this attack. They're holding a rally in this particular square against racism in solidarity with Sarandev Singh Bhambra, the young man who was attacked, the dentist. How does that make you feel, the reaction of the community so far?
Wonderful, absolutely wonderful, and I think this is what should happen to make it more unified. There shouldn't be any racism at all, not just alone in this town. There shouldn't be any racism, full stop, in the world.
Thank you so much. Sarandev, we have with me Graham Partridge, who's another local resident of Mould, has been living here for many years. So get his reaction into the horrific event that took place at Tesco store last week. So Graham, how does this event make you feel as a community member that this sort of thing took place in your town?
Well, I'm deeply shocked, because I'd like to think that a small town such as Mould, living quite remotely, will have a very high level of tolerance towards different types of community, and certainly my experience over the years and the time I've lived here is that there's a very close community, and it's a very warm and open community, not an intolerant or closed one in this way.
This particular young individual, apparently alleged by the media, is saying that he was a white supremacist, he was shouting white power as he did this particular attack. How does that make you feel? Is this representation of Mould?
I think it's quite damaging for an area such as Mould. It's outside of how we would want to think and how we'd want to behave, and it really is unacceptable. And we need to try and improve the level of education and knowledge of how communities work, and certainly not be affected by someone's physical appearance, which maybe in this case the wearing of a turban. It's just not acceptable.
By his entity. Also, how does it make you feel then that a small group of people following on from this attack are holding a rally today, and they call themselves Mould Against Racism? How does that make you feel? That's the reaction for this particular attack?
I'm not aware of this particular event or who the organiser, in particular who may be involved. If it's genuine, I would endorse that. I just have a slightly sceptical view as to why people sometimes do organise these events, if it is for that very specific purpose. I would endorse that.
I think that the reason they're doing it is to say that with solidarity with all communities, says Mould Against Racism. So they're saying that Mould is not a particular racist place. This is an isolated incident. I think that's the reaction that they're trying to
totally endorse that position in that case. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Graham, for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Sarandev, we have another resident from Mould with us, Jimmy, and we're going to get his reaction to the horrific attack that took place last week. Jimmy, how does it make you feel that a young Asian man was attacked by allegedly a white supremacist who was shouting white power as he attacked this individual with a machete and hammer in the Tesco store? How does that make you feel?
It just makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, because obviously it's not everyone's got as much right to be there as the same person. We're all equals at the end of the day. So there's no point in trying to say, oh, right, you shouting white power, what are you doing that? Because that's just wrong in my point of view, I think. We're all human beings. Okay, we're all different, but it's just wrong in every way. I just feel uncomfortable going there now. I don't really...
Have you discussed this with your friends and family? How does it make the wider community? How do they think the wider community felt with this particular attack, especially, and how it reflects on Mould?
Yeah, I spoke to it with because I didn't hear about it until like a few hours later. And then my girlfriend came to me flat, and she told me what happened, and I saw it on the news and explained everything. And everyone just seems a bit uncomfortable. Right, my family and friends all just agree with me, really, saying it was a bit wrong and a bit out of order. We're all human beings. Just one idiot, so to speak, just thinks he knows better than everybody else, and just did something that's life changing to probably a nice, kind gentleman.
Also, what's your reaction to a group of organisers that have now organised a Mould Against Racism rally here in Daniel Owen Square, obviously on the back of this particular attack? How does that make you feel, like the community coming together?
Yeah, it makes you feel good, because obviously we need to stamp out racism, because like I said, we're all human beings at the end of the day, and we're all one community, we're all in this community building it together, and we shouldn't really have any disruption in it, so it makes you feel a lot better.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Sarsangaji, with me now we have the local MP David Hanson, who's also come down to join with Mould Against Racism, the rally that's taking place in Mould today in North Wales, in solidarity with Sarandev Singh Bhambra after the horrific event that took place last week. It's fantastic the local community are coming together in support and solidarity of all communities and trying to stamp out racism. Let's get a reaction from the MP to their, what's basically your reaction. The Sikh community are watching right now. We feel obviously this particular attack was an act of terror in that respect. The way a young man claiming to be from a white supremacist background, shouting white power, with a young man who's a dentist, local dentist here, he was attacked with a machete and hammer. So how does that make you feel, and how do you think the community is coming together after following that attack?
Well, thanks for the chance to talk tonight. I mean, we're horrified at the fact this attack has taken place in Mould. We're here tonight, later this evening, to show our support for the victim, for the victim's family, and to also say that that's not been done in our name. We are a peaceful rural community in North Wales here. This is totally out of keeping with the town, and there's been an arrest, there's been a charge, there will be a trial, and we just want to say at the moment that we have total abhorrence of the attack last week and want to disassociate ourselves from the racial motivation of that attack.
Obviously, it is intriguing that a young man can be radicalised in this particular way, whatever's happened in that scenario. But as a wider community, as being a local MP, what steps are you taking now to ensure that this is, like you said, and I echo your concerns, this is an isolated incident. But how are we reassuring all the communities, not just the Sikh community, but the Muslim community, other communities that might feel, thinking, wow, this has happened in North Wales. How do I feel reassured that I could come back or be safe here?
Well, I think people can be safe here. This is a very isolated incident. Nothing like this has ever happened before. We have, as it happens, a very low Sikh and Muslim population in this part of North Wales. It is not acceptable that people who are here, who are contributing to our community, are attacked on the basis of their race. And we want to show tonight that solidarity with people, and to show that we're a welcoming, open, tolerant community. And it's important that we send that message. It's important that we say that. And I can't comment on the case. It will go to court. It will be dealt with by the courts. But it's very important that we simply say that people should be judged for who they are, not for what the colour of their skin or their religion is.
Fantastic. Also, so obviously the Sikh community are watching this on Sikh channel right now. Is there a message that you would like to send out to the community in particular from yourself?
Well, I think we have to recognise that we're a multiracial, multicultural society, and the people from throughout the United Kingdom should be allowed to enjoy their religion and to enjoy their life without the threat of violence on a random basis that apparently has happened here last week in Mould. We've got to send that signal very strongly. This is about the security of our community here. We are horrified at this attack. We want to make a stand. We want to show that we're horrified, and I'm pleased that people have come here today to support that stand.
Obviously we talked about the negative story, but also like a positive that's come out of this is that a bunch of locals have got together on the back of this particular attack and organised this rally. How does that make you feel?
Well, I'm very proud of the fact that my constituents have stood up to this alleged racist attack. I think it's very positive that people have done that.
Satsang ji, Waheguru ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru ji ki Fateh. We are now live at Daniel Owen Square in Mould, and I am so privileged to have with me the organisers of this particular event, where the community, the local community of Mould, have come together and said no to racism. So let's introduce the organisers for this particular event, and let's get their insight of what made them hold a rally in Mould after a horrific event that took place last week. fighting against racism. So first of all, we have Simon here.
Yep.
Simon, it was your idea, I believe, for this particular event, and you spoke to David in regards to this. Just tell us the community what happened.
We were having a conversation on Facebook how shocked we were with the attack that took place in Mould. And I think the key for me was it really doesn't represent the way I believe people around here really feel. I think Wales is a hospitable place. We've been open to many different cultures for years and years and years, and to have an attack like that perpetrated on literally my doorstep, I live a few yards away from when the attack took place, just really didn't represent how I feel about Wales as a country. And we had a conversation on Facebook, which we talked about this, and Shitty being a true man of action said, right, okay, we're going to do something about it, and the rally tonight is a result. I think it's a testament to the people around here that at such short notice and so quickly we've got such a good crowd out to show support, and that's where we are tonight.
I'm sure people watching this channel right now from the Sikh community are saying thank you, because what you're demonstrating is a solidarity against the form of extremism. This is an act of terror that took place, and the local communities are uniting. So you have people from all backgrounds are coming together in Mould City Centre to basically come together and condemn this particular attack. And it's also David, what would you like to say to the Sikh community?
I'd just like to reassure them that this isn't typical of North Wales. This kind of thing doesn't happen. It's shocked all of us, and a lot of us are very, very upset by what's happened. And I'd just like to reassure you all, we are friendly people. The actions of this particular person are the minority in North Wales, and we will not tolerate it. It's not welcome here.
Obviously, like I said, it's a tragic event that took place, and I believe that you've been in touch with the family themselves. The family been in touch with yourself. Did you explain to the community what happened there?
The victim's uncle contacted me through the Facebook page yesterday afternoon to express their support for the event and to thank myself, the people of Mould and North Wales for their support shown and for all their kind messages during this difficult time.
Obviously, because like I said, it's a tragic event that took place and is a negativity. But what you two gentlemen have been able to do, and it's awesome, that's why I'm so happy and privileged to be standing with you guys and interviewing you today, that you've taken this negative, tragic event and you've turned it into something positive by showing the solidarity of Mould.
I think this really represents the people of North Wales. It's much more the reality. As you can see, it's one person that's committed a horrendous act. It's hundreds that have turned out tonight to say that's not acceptable. I think you can see what North Wales is really like tonight.
Do you think it's important that when these sort of events take place, that the community condemn them quickly and show the solidarity?
Absolutely.
Definitely. I think it's coin a phrase. United we stand, divided we fall. I think we can't let the actions of the few disrupt and destroy communities like this, and I think it is a positive that's come out of this, that we are all standing here together, and hopefully we can build on this in the future.
Fantastic. Any last message to the Sikh community watching right now that you'd like to say?
We're a very welcoming community. If you'd like to come up here, please come and see us.
And just thank you very much for your support. For obviously, I know you've shared the event with the Sikh community as well as other Sikh organisations. Just thank you for helping this event happen. Thank you.
Appreciate it. I think obviously there's a testament to the people of Mould that the solidarity and the condemnation of that particular event is shown by the hundreds that have attended today's event on such short notice. It's only done in 48 hours ago, literally just less than 48 hours ago, but these two gentlemen have proven something in Mould, that there is something positive here, that people are united and are against all forms of extremism. Thank you so much for your time. Sar Sangaji, with me now we have the Mayor of Mould, Carol Haycox. When I get her reaction to the tragic event that took place where a young man, 24-year-old Sarandev Singh Bhambra, a local dentist, was attacked while shopping at Tesco's by another young man, 25, Zach Davis. Now, just Carol, what's your reaction to that tragic event?
Well, I'm very sorry it's happened in Mould, and it was a big shock. Yes, and I think the whole of Mould is shocked by it all.
We've been speaking to a lot of members of the local community today, getting their reaction and how they felt, and every single one of them has come out in condemnation of the attack. Even people that have come on camera, even not on camera, they've all shown their solidarity, saying that this form of racism will not be allowed in Mould.
That's what they're all here for today, to show that we are against racism and violence of any sort. It doesn't matter what, we are against it. And Mould is a united town.
How does it make you feel being the mayor of someone like some of your residents, where you have people like David and Simon, the organisers of this particular event? In literally 48 hours, they've managed to get hundreds of people together in the town centre.
Well, it's wonderful, really, but I'm not surprised because Mould stands together on anything that they do or we have. They all turn up, they all support one another, and I'm not surprised. It's great.
That's fantastic. Is there a particular message you would like to send out to the Sikh community watching right now in regards to what's happened here?
Yes, we are appalled and we are against racism here in Mould, and we're very sad that this has happened.
Thank you so much for your time.
Our young man's family, yes.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Show Racism the Red Card recognises the importance of public acts of unity, whilst retaining the belief that education is key to driving these damaging beliefs from society. The unifying effect of a community action against actions such as this. It proves that we will never let the minority of people who hold extreme beliefs damage the diversity and the spirit of the UK. What I'd like to do is, we've got a number of speakers tonight. David Hanson, our local MP, Professor Robert Moore, who's a trustee of North Wales Regional Community Equality Network, and we've got Cam Singh, and hopefully we'll introduce those in turn. And then I think hopefully we have the Cambria band finishing off with a bit of rousing music, and then it's from there. So I'd like to introduce you to Mr. David Hanson.
Thank you to everybody here tonight for coming down tonight to Daniel Owen Square. It's extremely important that those of us who live in Mould but also live throughout Flintshire make a point of saying that whatever happened last Thursday in Tesco's, and there is a court case pending with someone being charged, but the police have indicated there was a racist motivation for the attack. So I think it's very important that we, as people who live in Flintshire, represent, as I do in Parliament, this town, come here today to say very strongly that that was not in our name last week. It's extremely important we do that, and I just wanted to say to everybody who's come here tonight, but also to the many people who've contacted me in the last week, that this was an appalling attack. Our thoughts and our sympathies go with the victim, and we want to see eventually a court case, but we want to make a stand here today to say our sympathies and support are with the victim, and that we together will not tolerate that behaviour. I've been in touch with the police last week. I went to visit Tesco's the day after the event, but I've also been in touch with the family directly. And they've asked me tonight, if I may, to read a message on behalf of the family to you, which I'm intending to do so now, and then I'll hand over to other colleagues accordingly. But this message tonight was from the family who live in Leeds. They've been in touch with their Member of Parliament in Leeds, Fabian Hamilton, and they've asked me to read this out tonight. So what they've said to us this evening is as follows. As a family, we appreciate the support of the people of Mould following this terrible attack on our relative Dr. Sarandev Singh Bhambra. Please pass on our sincere apologies for being unable to attend this evening. We are trying to deal with the shock of this and want to maintain our privacy in doing so. But it's also important that we send out a resounding message that racist behaviour is totally unacceptable, and with and thanks to your support tonight, we can show this now. People need to know the community is there for them. We would like to thank the police and the emergency services and those who helped on the day, and to thank all those who have come here this evening. That's on behalf of the family. Just a final thanks from me. There are people here from all over Mould, from many communities, from different views, from different cultures, but I think the important thing that's brought us together tonight is to say that to the people of Flintshire, Wales, Britain and the world, Mould is not a racist town. Mould is tolerant and open, and we will maintain and continue to work to make sure that is achieved for the future. Thank you for coming this evening.
Whether you're old or young, male or female, whatever language you speak, wherever you come from, whatever the colour of your skin, you should be free to walk without fear and in safety. Now, I'm here this evening on behalf of the North Wales Regional Equality Network. We have been working supporting equality and human rights in North Wales for about 15 years now, and we're able to offer advice, counselling and advocacy to anybody who's been a victim of any kind of hate crime. And we're also able to provide education and training at any level, to whether it be to children or to older people or to pensioners, whomever, in the fields of human rights and equality. And so this evening I'm just bringing from Nuren that message that we're here to offer help and support and to express our solidarity with people here in Mould on this dark evening, and to say that, like you, we will not tolerate prejudice, discrimination or violence against any minority living, working, visiting North Wales, and that we will work alongside any other group with you in partnership to achieve a peaceful, safe North Wales. Thank you.
This is the Mould that needs to be shown out there in the wider world, that this is what the people of Mould are like. After a tragic event, after an act of terror, the people of Mould have shown their true colours, which is of solidarity and oneness of all, regardless of the skin colour, ethnicity or the race or religion, which is fantastic. And myself, from Sikh Channel, thank every single person that's attended in the hundreds today for your solidarity and your support of the victim and your message that you're sending out to the wider world that we will and we are against racism. Thank you all.
The one thing when we started talking about this 2 or 3 nights ago and sort of put it on Facebook and this is the result, the one thing we didn't really think about was what's the long-term effect of this. We would welcome any suggestions over the Facebook page. We'd welcome anything to come from this in terms of what we can do long-term with the unity that's been shown tonight. Whether that's whether that's a group, whether that's a regular event, whether we can put something on perhaps in the summer that really represents North Wales in the same way as tonight. If anybody's got any suggestions, please feel free. Go on the Facebook page. Let's see what we can do in terms of making this a more regular representation of North Wales than the act that was committed the other day.
So Sangaji, as you can see, several hundred people have attended today's event, Mould Against Racism, showing the true people of Mould and what their stance is against racism. But what we'll do is speak to a couple of the attendees and get their reaction on the actual event that took place last week, where a young Asian man was attacked with a hammer and machete. How does that make you feel?
Yeah, it makes me angry, really, to be honest. It makes me angry that is happened in North Wales first and foremost, and also that people think that is a representation of the community we live in, and it's not. We've got people here who are well-travelled, well-educated, intelligent, are able to think outside the box and accept that equality is prevalent in our society. But one person stands up, something terrible happens, and it shines a light on us all, really.
Obviously, how does this make you feel that on today's event, literally within, I think the organiser, like I said, they did it within 48 hours. How does it make you feel of this? Is this a true representation of Mould?
Yeah, I think that more and more people should take an active interest in pushing this type of thing. Ideally there'd be 5,000 people, not a few hundred. Obviously the short notice has changed it, but I think that more and more people are starting to pay attention to what's happening in the community. And I dislike the phrase, but they're waking up. People are sort of paying attention to what's happening, and there's discrimination right across the board, and true equality is what we should be looking for. I think in Britain one of the things that we do is we look down on other countries and we say, oh, at least we haven't got the issues with homeless children like Romania have, or we haven't got the poverty that India has, or and what we need to do is look up rather than down. We have to aspire to be something better rather than constantly comparing ourselves to something that we consider poorer living conditions. And we've got poor people here, and we've got people from all different realms of society, and I think that if you've got if you've got nothing, then you sort of understand what's out there a little bit more, and there's enough money and there's enough of everything to go around for everybody. Let's stop buying.
As a young person, right? Whereas obviously both of these individuals, the victim and the attack in this case, were both young.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel that young people can be radicalised in this extremist views?
Well, it happens, doesn't it? People are indoctrinated with an idea. The problem is that information is regurgitated. People's opinions are formed by what they read in any newspaper or what they hear their parents say, and we're constantly conditioned towards an idea. And I was quite lucky that my parents encouraged me to ask why, no matter what it was, and form my own opinions. And right now I have got different political opinions from my parents, and at first that might have been strange for them to sort of get their minds around, but that's what they've created by asking me to question constantly. And I think it's just complete ignorance, really. Any sort of racist attack or ideologies, and the springs that you see in this makes you think that it's scary that it can happen. But I think before they mentioned in one of the speeches that they said that education is the key, and it is. We've got to move on from it. We've got to get better rather than sort of standing still, or one of the things that anybody can cite is a problem, and what we need is solutions and those ideas to come forward, and otherwise it's Groundhog Day.
Thank you so much for your time, Steve. Sarsangji, we're live right now in Mould. It's absolutely freezing outside, but as you can see, several hundred people, local residents of the town, have come together in solidarity for an event organised by Mould Against Racism, where the local residents are coming together in solidarity against racism and all forms of extremism. The community, as you see, are shocked by the tragic event that took place, where a young man, a dentist, Sarandev Singh Bhambra, was attacked by a hammer and a machete by someone who followed what we call a right-wing ideology, an extremist ideology. The Sikh community is concerned about this event, as is every other community, because it shouldn't happen to anyone, and all forms of extremism should be condemned in entirety. And this is great to see. Where the act of terror took place, a week later, the local community have come together and joined in hundreds to say, look, not in our name. And this is what it's all about. People uniting and saying these forms of extremism are not done in our name, not in our religion, not in our race, not in our town, not in our country, which is a fantastic message that the community is giving. I'll be honest with you, we're speaking to so many different people here, and it's great to see you got young people and elders, everyone from different walks of life, all coming together in this solidarity rally. And I believe now that they're going to do the Cumbria band are going to play some music for the people of Mould in their form of solidarity and fighting against racism. So what we'll do is quickly have a word with the professor. A quick word, your reaction to what happened last week.
Well, like everybody else, we're really horrified, and we're very glad that the police have caught the culprit. And our best wishes go out to the victim and all his family. It really is a terrible event, and it doesn't reflect the culture of Mould or North Wales in one little bit.
Thank you so much. Sangat ji, Waheguru ji ka Khalsa, Waheguru ji ki Fateh. As you can see from the programme so far, we're live at Mold in North Wales, where a horrific attack took place on Sarandev Singh Bhambra on Wednesday. Now, the local community organised Mold Against Racism event, where they invited the local community, the residents, to come and take part in this event in solidarity against racism and all forms of extremism. And they only organised the event just a couple of, well, literally within 48 hours. And within 48 hours, they've had several hundred people come to the town centre here in Mold, in Daniel Owen Square. And it's fantastic to see the solidarity that has been represented of the people of Mold against this form of extremism. And this is the message that has come out. The message that said is solidarity. So it's great to see that you have young Sikh people from North Wales that also attended this event. So it's awesome to see that different communities coming together in condemnation of the act of terror that took place in the Tesco store, and more so in a positive light, how the communities work together to tackle these forms of extremism that are happening up and down the country, unfortunately. The radicalisation of young minds, impressionable minds, is up to the communities and elders, the media, the authorities, everyone working closely hand in hand to cut down and finish off all these forms of extremism. So as you can see, Sangat, the people, of residents of Mold, are showing their way and in their own way of solidarity against racism and their support for Sarandev Singh Bhambra and his family. Also, one of the organisers read out, I believe it was the MP, read out the statement from the family, who are greatly appreciative of all the support that they're getting from the Sikh channel viewers and the Sikh community across the country, and also from other communities. It's fantastic. The family have requested for privacy, but they're also saying thank you for all the support that they have got and they are getting. It's going to be a long ordeal. Obviously, we can't comment on the case too much. The alleged white supremacist has been arrested and is in remand. So the court case and obviously trial will start in due course. But what this shows to us as a community is that anyone is vulnerable to these forms of extremism, and not only that, anyone's vulnerable to these sort of attacks. So it's up to us to make sure that these sort of attacks don't take place, that the right response is given by the authorities, the police, accordingly. Now, the local community have shown their support, they come out in solidarity, but it's also down to the authorities to make sure to prevent these sort of attacks taking place. Obviously, when you see this sort of thing happen in other communities, the communities unite. For example, in the Jewish community, they have anti-Semitism, and so it's great that they've got their rules in place. It's also important that we see that we need to work as a community to become stronger. And my humble request to anyone watching right now, if you feel that you're being intimidated or someone's being if you feel under threat, someone's giving you racial slur, or while that be physical or verbal, you need to report it. And we'll be putting out a number and an email address to asking everybody to report these cases, so the authorities are well aware what sort of problem is out there, because all forms of terrorism, all forms of extremism must be condemned in their entirety. So thank you for watching today's show. Thank you for the people of Mold who've organised this great event.